Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Files. Here we are in a new year. And my name is Lucy, and I'm here with Christopher and Amanda, as usual. And we are going to spend about 5 minutes today talking about one particular book topic. And today, the type of book that we have chosen to talk about is our favorite self-help book. So, Christopher, what did you come up with for self-help?
Well, I'm going way back for this one. This book came out in 1973. It's called The Way of the Bull. And I had an unlikely friendship with a Presbyterian minister who introduced me to this book. I've read a few self-help books, and none of them really said much to me. But I really like The Way of the Bull. It's written by Leo Buscaglia, and it's all about his travels to lots of different countries in Asia, from Japan through Southeast Asia and into India. And each chapter is just very simple, humble life lessons about being with people and helping them, and things that you learn along the way of your travels. So it's based on the 10 Bulls, which is a Zen story. So I really like it. It's simple, it's not very esoteric, and I think it can speak to everyone. Amanda, what was your pick this time?
So for me, I went to my bookshelf and grabbed a book that I already own. The book I chose is called The 5 Things We Cannot Change and the Happiness We Find by Embracing Them by David Richo, I guess. So I don't read a ton of self-help books. I love looking for little notes and words of wisdom that I can use to guide me through thinking more clearly or better, or getting me through some rough times. But this book I really like. And I chose this one to mention today because there's one line in here that I still use in my brain all the time when things are going on. And that is, this happened, now what? So basically the author, he's a psychotherapist, if I didn't say that already, and he outlines 5 things we cannot change. And he just talks about how there's no constants for anybody ever. When I am looking for this sort of a book or looking for words of wisdom, I don't want anything that is too overly spiritual or too religious or too preachy or too much into the author's own path with examples. And I think this is more on the spiritual, it's not very religious, but it is more on the spiritual one, which the way this book was written, I really liked that, and it worked well for the book. I did read it. It's a short book. But yeah, I really just used that one sentence, this happened, now what? It works for lots of things, whether it's any sort of change in your life, like divorce or a change of home, a loss of job, any little change you can use, whether you like it or not. Me, I don't like change. I'm stubborn, and I like having that one little guiding point. So for me, it was this book. And he also has another book. He has many other books, but the one on here, this is from 2006 also. So that's the book I chose, The 5 Things We Cannot Change, because, as adults, we're still learning that things happen, and we need to just work through them because we're not alone in that. So that's where I went. Lucy, how are you this week? What'd you choose?
Well, I just want to say I really like that line that you just mentioned there. And I think that, I'm thinking back even, in parenting, that could be so useful for kids, just to be like, okay, this happened. Now what? So
I'm thinking of it for cooking.
Yeah, it applies to anything. So that's really great.
Whether it's deep and heavy, or whether it's we broke our favorite glass. That's silly, yeah. But it's just get over it because
yeah. Yeah, that's a really, really good little gem there. So the book that I chose, and I struggled a little bit because I was I'm not sure how much self-help I do read or I have read recently. I think like you, Amanda, I like to pull out little lines, but I find that those are usually they can be from anything. They can be from fiction, a book of essays. So in a way, there's a lot of books that are self-help because don't we read in some way because it helps us. So, but I did pick something that fell under the self-help category, which is called Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking by Susan Cain. And it was written in 2013. And she writes this book because she thinks like as a society, we undervalue introverted people. And this book sort of explores what we lose when we do that. And, introversion is often thought of as like a second class personality trait. And there's sort of a bias against being introverted. We're a loud world. So when I read this book, just the beginning of it, I just felt like I was being seen, like in the first, in the introduction. I'm a very introverted person. And this book helped me so much to realize that like it is okay that the way I recharge myself is being by myself. And there are some people who recharge by being with other people. And that when people who are not introverted try to change you or say that, I think there's this constant like thought from people who aren't introverted that introverts don't want to be introverted. And this book helped me to just really identify my own introversion and be okay with it. And she has a line in here that's just spend your free time the way you like, not the way you think you're supposed to. And that it just really helped me. So I loved this book, and I think about it a lot. And I think about it when I'm by myself recharging, because that's what I need. So that's Quiet by Susan Cain. And
I like that. I can totally relate to being, as an extroverted introvert, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah, well, she does, and she gets into like there's nuance, it's not like introverts over here and extroverts over here. And she's in no way like devaluing extroversion. She's just clarifying that it doesn't need to be the standard. So I thought this book was very helpful. And if you are an introverted person, or, even an extroverted person, could probably get a lot out of this.
Especially if you have other ones in your life where there's in the same household or close friends, just understanding the difference and how to manage each other.
Yeah, definitely. So we would love to hear from you. If you have a favorite self-help book, do you read self-help books? Are there other books that you look to get help? We would love to get comments from you on that. And our next episode, we'll be talking about our favorite youth fiction, and we will have a special guest on that episode. So we look forward to seeing you then.